This FIA Grade 1 venue that's been through many changes over the course of its long history. Bringing it to you live here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Kick. It's me, Reese Gardner, and it's him, Brandon Stuck, alongside me, with Jay Kennedy behind the scenes, pressing all the buttons, bringing you these live pictures. Looking forward to this one, Brandon. Hockenheim is a circuit that I think is pretty underrated in its current form. Obviously, I understand the furor about 23 years ago or something like that over its truncation and change, but I think in the years since it's proven to be a very serviceable venue.
Yeah, Hockenheim is a fantastic venue in my personal opinion. Absolutely love this track. Would love to see how it goes tonight. There's some interesting opportunities for passing opportunities, but also an opportunity to run wide and possibly obtain a track limit, particularly there at turn 1. But looking forward to this one. Big passing opportunities at turn 2, turn 6, and turn 8 is my personal picks there. But yeah, looking forward to this one and looking forward to seeing how the V8s throw it around tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. This place has been around, as you can see, since 1932, and originally it was made up entirely of public roads. The circuit's been through a lot of stages over the course of its history, but the current oldest parts of the circuit include the run between the Exeter Turn 1 and Turn 2, and the Mobile 1 to Turn 15 section, which has been around since the late 60s. That hairpin at Spitzkehre, turn 6 up the top right, is something, is a place where we're going to be seeing a lot of passes tonight, trying to catch a slipstream through the parabolica. And as you mentioned, Brandon, those curbs are going to be an issue as well. There's some pretty brutal anti-cut sausages at the apexes of some of these corners, and as you said, it's very easy to run wide. Well, we're currently in the midst of our 15-minute qualifying session. We're going to have 2 races here tonight for the first time in a while for V8s. 14 laps for race 1, a reverse top 10 for race 2, running for 20 laps, and a compulsory pit stop, but no fuel tank restrictions. So it's likely either going to be tyres only, maybe some drivers will chance it and go no tyres at all. Considering the track isn't that hot at the moment, that might be a way to go.
Yeah, certainly will. I mean, coming off Road Atlanta last time out with the... Whoa, we have a spin here at the hairpin. But yeah, coming off Road Atlanta last time, as you said in that broadcast, Reese, that track was known for eating tyres for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But here, I think it's a little bit more different. I think here you can really conserve the tyres. But looking at those conditions, very... cloudy, but also, as I just said there now, 95% chance of a little bit of a drizzle. I don't want to commentator's curse this night, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how the weather will play a factor in tonight's racing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's rather interesting seeing how cold and foggy it is out there. In the 2014 class, Aaron Gilbert continues to lead the championship from Matt Haywood, and Henry King has managed to get a good run of results together to consolidate 3rd place over Daniel Stevens at the top driver from Middle Finger Racing. Rob Crisdale rounding out your top 5 in this subcategory. Thomas Hinz, he doesn't do every single round, but it goes to show how great his pace has been. He remains in 8th place.
Yeah, it's just been an absolute run of luck for a lot of the drivers here. But yeah, Thomas Hinz, very here and there, doesn't run all the rounds, but we did see a dominant run from him a couple of rounds ago. And then looking at our 2019 standings, Dylan Walker topping those timesheets at the moment. Still at the top after the last round. Unfortunately had a dropout and missing a couple of laps. Robbie Bradbury there in 2nd and Lockhart Brownlee in 3rd.
Yes, indeed. Dylan Walker, and a pretty big development. No longer a part of Orbit Drop Bear Motorsports, and Lockhart Brownlee, it seems, joining Pacific Esports Racing. So there's been a few big changes in the Orbit DBM. Okay, apparently the teams per certain drivers are not quite correct. So I'll take that back. Lockhart Brownlee still a part of Orbit Drop Bear Motorsport, and yeah, Robbie Bradbury part of Pacific Esports Racing. So yeah, that might have to be changed for next round. But regardless, the whole point of that run-on sentence was that Dylan Walker is now a privateer. So he'll be lacking a bit of the support that Orbit Drop Bear Motorsport could provide. Regardless, I think Walker has been far and away the best performing driver in the 2019 class over the course of the entire season. His championship lead states that without much elaboration. So it'd be interesting to see what he can do now he's going alone.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he manages to tackle this round. First time as a privateer. But it's really been a battle between himself and Lockhart Brownlee as we look here at a couple of the onboards joining on our Zoom feed. Loving the view that we're getting here. Look at how much information's on the right-hand side of the screen there. I just want to see who we're right on board with there.
Yeah.
Can't really... Okay,
Chad
so I've been
Lewis.
told... So Chad Lewis there on the right. So that's some beautiful information he's got there. It looks like we're in the quad screens. Absolutely love it. And Dan Stevens there on the left, as always, joining us on the Zoom feed. And you can see just how much wheel work these drivers are having to use. Looks like Dan Stevens loves to use the gloves, and Chad Lewis going non-gloves for this one. Oh, over the curve goes Chad Lewis. Beautiful little jump there. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, looks like he's Chad looks like he's running the Thrustmaster direct drive wheel. I recognize that hexagonal base anywhere. Dan Stevens, meanwhile, one of the most recognizable cockpits in the AusNZ sim racing community. He loves having as many buttons as possible to control as many functions as he can, and I absolutely love his gear display. I like the fact that it seems like a bit of a higher frame rate on his camera now, which means we can actually see that gear display fully in all of its glory. Well, look at how much he's bouncing off the rev limiter there, slowing down for the hairpin, cranking on the lock there. Seems like he, I thought that he'd be finding on a bit more lock for the hairpin, honestly. Looks like that NFR car's turning pretty well. Yeah,
looks to have been as we right on board now with him coming through the back end of the track now up to turn 8. Look at this. Ran a bit wide there last time out as he caught on board with himself and Chad Lewis, but look at the absolute run he is getting right now, trying to put together a flying lap. Currently sitting, I'm just trying to see on the timing screen, he's currently sitting 8th overall. So he's trying to make his way back up the grid. Look at all the dirt that's on the circuit there as well. Some of the marbles and the debris as well. So some people have been running wide there. You can see there now we got a little bit more of an idea of where our drivers sitting individually in their classes. And here we go. Dan's just going to decide to bring this one into the lane. Also a shout out to the man currently in P6 in the 2014 class, new driver to the the V8SCOPS support series, Remo Grossenbacher. Sorry, I might have botched your name there, buddy, but welcome to...
I'd say that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I'm not new with these names, but absolutely welcome to Remo. Looking forward to see how he can go tonight. And look at the Lockhart Brownlee livery again, a new livery for us to have a look at and just feast our eyes on. The Orbit and Drop Bear Motorsport car. Giving me Benson Hedgen vibes there, Reese.
Yeah, certainly. I like the retro bent that these guys have been going for with their liveries over the course of the season. This seems to be a Tony Longhurst-inspired livery. So, fantastic stuff from Lockhart. Let's see if that paint grants him even more tenths than he currently has over the rest of the field. It's interesting to see that Brownlee's on top here in a 2019 car, and that's been pretty rare, honestly, this season. The 2019 cars are supposed to be the quicker ones, being the newer chassis, but the 2014 machines have often had the edge on them in terms of pace. They've been a bit easier to get out of the corners. You can drive them a bit harder. So I think these sort of modern, smooth venues seem to benefit these newer machines. Lockhart Brownlee currently about 4/10 of a second, 5/10 of a second even ahead of Henry King and Chad Lewis, who are almost neck and neck for overall second. But King currently on top in the 2014 class, dethroning his teammate Aaron Gilbert, it seems.
Yeah, it seems to be that way. Aaron Gilbert's only sitting third there behind Dion DeGraff as well. So Dion DeGraff's also made a jump up to second place at the moment. As we look back on board with Chad Lewis here, but also a bit of breaking news for the fans here. Not so surprisingly, here in Lockhart, Brownlee's got a new livery for next week. So next week, as part of our double header, going to the Bend, we're going to get another livery for... there you go. Thank you for that one, Jay. Yeah, so Friday the 1st of August. We are going to go to the Bend. New track added to iRacing in the last season updates. And Lockhart Brownlee will have another livery for us to feast our eyes on and just be in awe of the livery and the work that he does with that.
Absolutely. Looking forward to seeing what he's got up his sleeve. Chad Lewis bringing the car around potentially to start another lap. Either that or bring it into the pits. Speaking of pit lane... looks like Lewis is going to be keeping it out on track here and having one more go at a hot lap. He does have time to do that. We should keep an eye out for pit entry, honestly, because you notice from seeing cars tour around the final couple of corners, the pit lane is in between those last two right-handers, and you got to turn pretty tight to get it in. If you run too far over the concrete where the pit lane diverges from the racetrack, you get an unsafe pit entry penalty, which may absolutely ruin your night. In race 2, they're going to have to be very careful to keep it within the white lines on the way into the pits.
Yeah, certainly will. I mean, that's that last little section there, all the way around those last 5-6 corners, it's very flowing, and you've got to be able to get your flow right. Same with Road Atlanta at the start of the lap. It's all about flow, so if you can get the flow right, you can get it perfect, but if you're going to come into the pit, you've got to make sure you don't sort of hold up anyone. You don't want to have anyone really close to you that might potentially take you out onto pit entry, so you've got to be really careful about that stuff. So we'll see how that plays out in tonight's second race with the top 10 reverse. As we can see now, Chad Lewis on a flyer. You can see how he's going around there. Less than a minute 20 left to go. Does he stick out to the wall? Nope, a little bit off the wall there. And we'll see what he can do now in this last little complex here between turns 12 to 15. Let's see if he can improve on the 139.7, which currently sees him second in class and third overall.
Yeah, he was carrying a lot of speed through the stadium curve there, the banked hairpin. So this might be a good lap here from Chad Lewis. 1 minute 39.7 to beat. No, he's going to miss out by 4/10 of a second. Yeah, I think the entry into the stadium section hurt him there. He didn't run as far out over the curb as he probably could have. Dylan Gray, on the other hand, well, he makes a slight improvement there by 0.003 of a second, but that's not going to be enough to get ahead of Chad Lewis, let alone Matt Haywood and Dion DeGraff, who are in the 2014 class ahead of him. This being a multi-race server, there's going to be a hard cut to the end of qualifying, so you need to be crossing the line now if you want to get that lap time done. And have a look at that from Dion DeGraff in the dying seconds of the session. He's just taken pole in the 2014 class and put himself on the overall front row. Mega impressive run there from Dion DeGraff. Let's see if he can convert that into a great result. Things looking a little mixed up there for the 2014 cars. Time to go through the grid for the first of our races here. Reminder, 14 laps on the cards for this one. It's an out-and-out sprint. Lockhart Brownlee on pole position with Dion DeGraff on pole in the 2014 cars. They are your front row. Henry King and Chad Lewis. Then Matt Haywood and Dylan Gray make it side by side for our two subclasses, with Aaron Gilbert and debutant Remo Grossenbacher there on row number 4. Daniel Stevens and Dylan Walker will round out your top 10.
Yeah, Joe Mahoney and Robbie Bradbury will be 11th and 12th. Then we go back down a bit further. Dave Arney and Peter Pavlovic will round up the row 7 there. Martin Lipsky in 15th, Gary Watson in 16th, Colin Bruns in 17th, and Lachlan Capel in 18th. That rounds out the field for tonight's racing for race 1. Reese, let's get into it.
Oh, absolutely. Let's get into it. Lachlan Capel, of course, our safety car driver for V8SCOPS Supports. and he'll be at the ready, waiting to come out on track in his BMW M2, just in case there's a large incident on track and any drivers are too damaged to make it back to pit lane under their own power. Lovely shot of this grid, this iconic grid at the Hockenheim ring. Such an incredible final sector of this track with all the huge grandstands surrounding you. This place has hosted the German Grand Prix for many decades, and unfortunately F1 hasn't been here in a while, but hopefully it can return at some point. Now, Turn 1 is quite open, and well, David Haynes is going to love our showcasing of the Ravenol bottle on the top of the pit building. Apparently, Jay's telling us behind the scenes that Haynes sent him a documentary of the building of that giant motor oil bottle. I might have to give that some viewing myself. Haynes talks about it enough whenever we visit the Hockenheim ring. But as I was saying, the run into Turn 1, it's pretty short, actually. It's a short-ish start-finish straight on this track, but Turn 1 incredibly open. There's a lot of tarmac runoff to gather up your car if you run a bit deep, but the curb can very easily unsettle you. There's a lot to keep track of on your way down to Turn 1. Basically, what you got to remember is nail the start, which is tough to do at the best of times in these cars. I think the 2014 cars might have a better time of it than the 2019s, because they tend to feel a bit better on the power, and they can push a bit harder on the exits of corners. So Dion de Graaf has a lot of pressure bearing down on him at the moment here. First of the 2014 cars trying to overtake Lockhart Brownlee into Turn 1. Revs are rising, and race 1 of V8SCOPS supports at Hockenheim is go. It's a pretty even start amongst our front row, but look at that lightning start from Matt Haywood. He immediately gets into 3rd overall, passing Henry King into Turn 1. Chad Lewis going across the curb at the apex of Turn 1. And it looks like a nice clean run for everybody there. Haywood super deep on the brakes, overtaking Dion de Graaf there and taking the 2014 class lead as they all try to sort themselves out behind. Exit's so important here. Dylan Gray running off into the grass. That's going to hurt him all the way through the Parabolica.
Yeah, what an absolutely clean start by everyone involved. Matt Haywood get a blinder of a start there. He's absolutely boosting it there. Dylan Gray now going for a dive to the inside. Here we have this beautiful shot of the hip, and look at Aaron Gilbert up the inside. Can he get a 2 for 1? Oh, that is ballsy. There you go. He gets it done. He is now up and away looking for Dion de Graaf, but Dylan Gray's like, nah, I'm still here, mate. I'm still here. I want to fight. This is absolutely close. Dylan Gray now has dropped behind Aaron Gilbert. So Aaron Gilbert gets a 2 for 1 at the hairpin. Can we call that the pass of the season? That was absolutely brilliant.
Yummy, scrumptious move there from Aaron Gilbert. Loved seeing that as they come into the stadium section for the first time. Got to get on the power nice and easy. It's very easy to get crossed up over the curb, and, well, getting crossed up before he even gets to the curb there is Colin Bruns in the 111. He falls all the way to the back of the field. Last of everybody. Got to make some kind of recovery over the next 13 laps. Remo Grossenbacher here, riding on board. The driver making his first start in V8SCOPS supports, and it's been an all right run for him so far. He has lost a couple of positions on the first lap, but things could certainly go worse for your first race in this series.
Yeah, certainly can. He's looking for a bit of a move now, looking for some clean air on Dan Stevens. Dan Stevens at the same time looking for some clean air to try and get past Dylan Walker, our freshly made into privateer driver. Dan Stevens now on board here behind Dylan Walker. I think we forgot to give Aaron Gilbert the chef's kiss for that move. That was absolutely brilliant. I'm still stunned by that. That's awesome. But as we look now on board with Dan Stevens now looking for a move, he's going to look for an opening and see what he can do. But he's got to be careful now. He's got the debutant behind him. Move down at the hairpin, and we're going to go side by side here, the 3 and the 53. See how this ends up down the end, and Dylan Walker has just managed to get out ahead of Dan Stevens. So move not done quite yet.
Yeah, not quite. I tell you what, if Aaron Gilbert can pull off any further moves like that, we're going to be eating good tonight. Daniel Stevens, though, still looking for the run that he needs there as we check out the replay on board here from Aaron Gilbert. He sees Dylan Gray pop out from behind his teammate Henry King, and then Gilbert gets on the brakes and figures, okay, I'm going for the apex, might as well go for the whole move there. Nearly got up the inside of Dion de Graaf there as well.
Oh.
Problem for Lockhart Brownlee. He's falling down the order. That's our pole sitter that's unfortunately fallen by the wayside there. Potentially a problem in the stadium section. Looks like running a bit too deep there, catching the gravel. That didn't hurt him immediately, but I think he ran a bit too deep here. He certainly did. Well recovered though.
Yeah, very well recovered. Lucky not to try and end up in the wall there on the exits of the corner. But yeah, absolutely got to be heart-wrenching for him. As Matt Haywood now, he's in the lead now. He wants to get away from this. Dion de Graaf second, and and Aaron Gilbert third. Henry King in fourth. So 4 2014 cars leading the way once again here in V8SCOPS supports. And it looks like Matt Haywood's going to have to just try and take it easy now as Aaron Gilbert looking for a move up the inside. He's used the hairpin before to good use. Can he do it again? Oh, bit of a touch. And gets it done. I'm not too sure what race control might think of that. There was a bit of a touch mid-corner, but maybe we'll have to wait and see.
I think he was far enough ahead that that could be a justified move there. He was a little bit deep, but no harm, no foul. They're still going as they are, and it didn't look like Dion de Graaf had to make any sort of recovering action there. Well, Matt Haywood with blazing pace at the front of the field here. The aerial view of that move there. Gilbert was ahead at the apex, so I think race control will be fine with that one.
Yeah, it seems as though he was far ahead, far enough up ahead, sorry. And we can see now how they come through the stadium section, looking back now at our debutant, and then back behind him is Joe Mahoney. Had a good run of had a pretty bad run of luck as of late, but last time out at Road Atlanta had himself a pretty decent result. And then right behind Joe Mahoney is one Robbie Bradbury in the 2019 Ford Mustang. Looking back now on board at our debutant here, Remo Grossenbacher in the Big Point Racing Holden, looking for a move, and it seems as though, looking up ahead, Lockhart Brownlee has managed to get back past Dylan Walker, so he's now starting to find his mojo back and get up once again. Only 10 more laps left to go in this one. Very short race here around the Hockenheim, and we'll see if anyone can make any moves. Remember, top 10 reversed, so that's going to be an interesting one for race 2 later tonight.
Yeah, actually, for Grossenbacher, he's in the optimum position right now. He currently runs in 10th place. There goes Brownlee up the inside of Stevens, and that looked a bit deep there from Brownlee. But a similar situation as what happened between Gilbert and de Graaf. I don't know if race control is even going to take a look at that. But it looks like move is complete. Now Dylan Walker is under major pressure from Remo Grossenbacher. Daniel Stevens is wide. Looks like there was a tech issue for Daniel Stevens. His connection to the server not looking the most stable. So fortunate that he's come back, but he did have quite a significant freeze just a few moments ago.
Oh, okay, that's not what you want when you're handing around a V8 around the Hockenheim ring or any sort of track, for example. But we'll see now if hopefully he's got those tech issues sorted out. Unfortunately, it's not something that can be sorted out on the fly, but we'll see if it gives him any more trouble whatsoever. But we can see now Matt Haywood now followed closely by Aaron Gilbert. How many times have we said that this season? That Aaron Gilbert is up the tailpipe of Matt Haywood. It just wants to get past, and I bet you Matt Haywood's probably sick of seeing a Jing Shifter's car in his rearview mirror.
Yeah, Chad Lewis nearly getting into the back of Henry King there at the apex of turn 2, but a nice straight exit through 3 and 4, and the Parabolica will keep the momentum up. Yeah, Matt Haywood and Aaron Gilbert, they've been battling for championships for the last few years now. Very well-matched pair of drivers, and it looks like this is going to be no different here, as it looks like defensive there from Haywood as Lewis makes the move on King. Now Aaron Gilbert's really starting to rear up to the back of the number 47 at the front of the field. Haywood having to go offline to defend for what looked like the first time this race.
Yeah, it looks like he had to just try and defend. I think he really wants to get these points over Aaron Gilbert. He was leading the championship only up until I think it was a couple of rounds ago where he lost that lead. But he needs to stay consistent if he wants to try and get ahead of Aaron Gilbert in the championship. Here we go, incident between cars 3 and 125 at turn 6. Last lap under review, so race control having a look at that. Is looking Dion DeGraff now. He's looking for a move on Aaron Gilbert, and that's just brought Dylan Gray to the party. That's allowed Matt Haywood to get away a little bit. This is getting a bit spicy here. Not too sure if you want to battle too hard at the moment. Dion DeGraff has got some great pace.
Yeah, it seems like maybe Gilbert has heated up his tyres a little bit too much. So this is the incident that race control are looking at. So, yeah, it looks like for Lockhart Brownlee, he was a bit too deep into the corner there. The difference, I think, between this incident and what we saw between Gilbert and DeGraff is that Gilbert was able to turn the car at the apex, and the contact wasn't that heavy. A little bit different there between Lockhart Brownlee and Daniel Stevens.
Yeah, it was a bit more significant contact between those two compared to what we saw earlier, as Henry King now still looking for a way past Aaron Gilbert, poking the nose, just showing the headlights. I'm not too sure if that's bringing a bit of trouble to Matt Haywood. You can see there in the still. Yeah, look how far open Lockhart is from that corner there. So I'm interested to see what race control's decision will be. We'll see if we can get a decision by race end. See what they can do. Obviously, that's what they are. That's what they do. They take their time and make sure that they get the decision right, and we can focus on the racing here. This is what you and I are sort of sitting here for, Reese. We're here to call the race action as to how it is.
Yes, indeed. One thing that just happened there was Haywood got a wheel into the gravel coming into the stadium section, and that's brought the gap right back down now. Gilbert and DeGraff are chasing and chasing hard as there goes Dion up the inside of Gilbert at the last turns. Sends the both of them onto the drag strip, and Dylan Gray takes advantage of that and puts him into overall third place. We have a 2019 car on the overall podium, and oh wow, there we go. Looks like DeGraff giving the position back to Gilbert there. Immediate redress to avoid the wrath of race control.
Yeah, that was some good thinking there by Dion DeGraff. Don't want to get any penalty now. I mean, this is a short circuit, only halfway through the race now at the moment. But yeah, good decision there by Dion DeGraff to give it up. But unfortunately has lost 2 positions out of this. Look at this massive dive under brakes. Has just sent Gilbert wide and has come back on. And you can see Dylan Gray's like, thank you, I'll take that one. Let's just see when does Dion decide. Here we go. Pulls out, gets on the brakes, and allows Aaron Gilbert back through. So good decision there by Dion to let that one through. Hopefully not going to inquire a penalty after that one.
Joseph Mahoney making his way past Dylan Walker at the hairpin. Interesting point about DeGraff there. I'm wondering if he actually got a slowdown from running so wide over the drag strip. Watch Mahoney here. Look for the orange Race on Oz car. Here he is. Gets up the inside of Walker, and that is a very nice move indeed. We're seeing some great moves tonight at the Hockenheim ring. This just makes me even more excited for Sunday. Oh, God! Whoa! Joe Mahoney sent into the wall, and that engine is smoking. I think the car is done.
Oh, that is bad luck now for Joe Mahoney. That is another one that he gets involved in. Oh no, he will be fuming at that. We'll see if race control decide for a safety car here. That car is not moving at all. We'll don't know if they're gonna just leave it there, let him get a tow, or whatever the story may be. There you go. It's the episode between cars 1 and 20 is also under review now. As we take a look at Peter Pavlovich. I don't know, Reese. What would you call this?
I would call this, for Joe Mahoney at least, he's close enough to a wall opening that race control have allowed him back in, have allowed him to escape back to the pits. Yeah, it just looks to me like he lost the brakes there. That was after the contact with Walker, of course. This is the on board here from Walker. So Mahoney tries going defensive, but Walker keeps accelerating as Mahoney gets on the brakes. They just made a bit of contact there, quarter to quarter, and at those high speeds, at those loads, when you're trying to get on the brakes, it's very difficult to keep the car straight. There goes de Graaf in the background, and Remo Grossenbacher may get another position out of this one. Race control has decided for the incident between de Graaf and Gilbert, no further action because it was redressed.
Yeah, okay, so there we go. So good decision by race control. They let them play on, let them get themselves sorted out. That's brilliant maneuvering there by race control. We look now back at Chad Lewis now getting chased down hard here by Lockhart Brownlee, who has absolutely found himself another gear. Look at the onboards here. I'm loving this. I'm loving that these. I'm hoping all drivers join the Zoom call at some point, because I think that'll be something awesome to see, and see the look of focus on their face here. Look at Lockhart Brownlee here. Absolutely eyes locked forward. He wants to get this one done on Chad Lewis here. Looking left, looking right. Chad having to defend. And bit of a touch there. I think a lot of guys are like, hello Chad, you can just sort of see the part number on the bumper.
Yeah, just about. Tapping a little bit of Morse code into the back of his fellow ZB Commodore, and the pace is continuing here for Brownlee.
Look at this.
Up the inside he'll come at the hairpin. That's very deep though, and he moves across in the braking zone. Lewis having to give way to him there, gives him a bump on the exit for good measure. Man, every time Brownlee's gone into the hairpin, it's looked like he's almost been out of control.
Yeah, he's absolutely sending it into the hairpin. That must be a key pass opportunity for him now as we look in the look at this beautiful battle going on here. Look in the background now. Remo Grossenbacher is looking for a move past Dion de Graaf. I think he might have found a little bit of pace in that Holden Commodore. Look at this. He's really getting to grips with this car now, and this is only the first round that we've seen him, and hopefully we'll see him back in the next one next week at the Bend. We'll see if he can make any moves stick. Currently sitting in 8th place overall, so he'll be 3rd when we reverse the grid for the next one in just a few minutes time. And we can see in the background there Dan Stevens as well and Dylan Walker are going at it. So some nice battle packs happening up and down the field here at the moment, as we see Dion de Graaf is now caught up to the back of Henry King. So this has now become a 5-car battle, and this is going to be good.
Oh, absolutely. Great fight, and great fight up at the front as well. Matt Haywood continuing to keep Aaron Gilbert at bay, but Aaron running 0.3 of a second faster on the previous lap. Haywood's been driving hard ever since he got into the lead, but it might be too much for his tires. I've noticed at a couple of turns he's been running wide on the exit. It's Aaron Gilbert, a very experienced and deft pair of hands. He's got the number 1 on his car for a reason. Might have a go at him in the coming corners if he can nail the exit of the hairpin. I love how when they come out of corners like that from that angle, you can almost see the drivetrain flex as they come up through the gears. It's magnificent.
Yeah, it's an absolutely awesome little spot there, especially coming out of a slow corner like that in the V8. You know, you can see just how the rear end just sits down on the ground, and you can see the power getting put to the wheels as Dion de Graaf now up on the rear of Henry King, as we can see here under review, the 727 and 125. So that is the move that we saw where Lockhart Brownlee managed to get past Chad Lewis. Race Control have decided to open up the book on that one and see what they can decide what would be the best course of action. So you can see now a bit of a battle here between the 2014 Ford Falcons here dancing around on the exit there. Look at Dion de Graaf. He's looking for a move, and Henry King wants to get away from it.
Yeah, King running a bit too deep there in the penultimate corner, though. De Graaf might be looking for a move from there. And Aaron Gilbert right on the back of Matt Haywood once again. Haywood very wide out of turn 1. Once again, Aaron Gilbert has taken a couple more tenths out of our leader, and there's only 4 laps remaining in the race. So This is the time to be on the attack. Gilbert has been driving reasonably carefully. He's been looking after those tyres. He's been keeping the pace up. He's been driving cleanly. And now all he has to do is execute the move. But that's way easier said than done. He'll try to psych out Matt Haywood by moving in the braking zone. You're allowed to do that if you're the car behind. But they'll stay in that order for now. This fight is just fantastic. Brownlee versus Lewis at the front with King, de Graaf and Grossenbacher all in tow. And as far as debuts go, I'm very impressed with Remo Grossenbacher at the present time. He's staying in touch with these guys, and he could take advantage if there's a coming together.
Yeah, he's certainly keeping up with them, that's for sure. He's just keeping the pace there behind, not getting too involved. As you can see, the cars are just squirreling all over the place. I think the tyres might be starting to see potentially just wearing down, seeing the end of the life here. They're just going to hold on a little bit longer. As you can see, Dion de Graaf now for a dive, pokes the nose, trying to unsettle Henry King. I think that's a bit of a smart move there. Sort of unsettle the guy in front of you, make sure he can see you. And we look back at the front here. So we've got Jinx Shifters cars enthralled in battles here. And it's, you know, one's defending, one's attacking. I don't know which one you want to be in this situation, but I think I'm quite happy just to sit back here and watch.
Yeah, I'm happy to watch as well. Tip it in for turn one, bounce off the apex curb, run all the way over the exit curb. Don't go beyond those white lines, just beyond the curbs. That is the key to supreme pace at the Hockenheim ring, and you've got to try and straighten out the car as soon as you can at turn two as well for the best run down this parabolica. Sort of a straight that's not really straight. Defensive now from Matt Haywood. He knows that Aaron Gilbert is coming, and I think you can see that. Oh, that's deep. Oh, Gilbert sees the door open at the hairpin, and with a little bit of biffo, he gets past Matt Haywood, but redresses the position. He'll swap back in between Haywood and Gray. Meanwhile, behind, Dion de Graaf has made a move on Henry King, taps the brakes to get the weight on the front tyres. Henry King going to go for the move up the inside once again at the Mercedes Arena, but the outside line gets the better exit. Dion de Graaf still up the inside, contact at the apex, and Henry King will have to sit tight for now. Here comes Grossenbacher.
Yeah, watch for Remo Grossenbacher, brand new driver to the series, looking for a move.
Whoa, no!
Oh, no! Henry King goes, he's managed to save it, but has lost a position there. Dan Stevens coming up as well. And we switch back here to the top three. Look at Dylan Gray. Dylan Gray wanting some of the action. He's going to go for an attack now on Aaron Gilbert. Here we go, coming around the final corner now. 2 laps to go. I don't know, do you want it to end? Do you want it to keep going? This is absolutely brilliant stuff here. Dylan Gray absolutely firing all cylinders now. A little loose on the exit of turn one there. He gets a brilliant run out of the corner now. Look at Aaron Gilbert now still trying for a move. Do you reckon we might see another one at the hairpin here? Here we go. Dylan Walker, drive-through penalty for the incident between himself and Joe Mahoney, and he is going to have to serve that one right now. This race is nearly over. That'll send Dylan Walker down to the back of the grid, probably the 2019 grid, but maybe a few of the 2014 cars as well. As we look back at the battle here at the front here, Matt Haywood now still defending. Dylan Gray gives Aaron Gilbert a touch up the rear, and he's got a bit of a connection issue there. Just went in and out of our screens. Yeah, it looks like Matt Haywood now has found a way just to sort of get out a bit. Oh, okay. Yeah, a bit of a touch there, and Lockhart Brownlee running a bit wide. Just, oh man, this is absolutely awesome. Absolutely loving this stuff. Here we go, coming down into the stadium section one more time on the second to last lap, the penultimate lap here for race one at the Hockenheim ring. Aaron Gilbert's still looking for a move. He's not giving this one up. He is persistent.
Yeah, well, there's one thing's for sure in V8s, Aaron Gilbert is going to pressure you all the way to the end. Was that a lock-up from either Haywood or Gilbert into the penultimate corner? Well, white flag is in the air. That's a big slide there from Matt Haywood, and he is in trouble here. Aaron Gilbert is sniffing a lot of potential for a move here as the final lap of race one begins. as we find our way down to turn 2. This is where Gilbert wants to set up the move into the hairpin if he can pull it off. Get on the power smoothly at the apex here, get the car rotated. Be careful not to run too wide through the left-hander here. It seems like Haywood did a better job than Gilbert there, and that might have just saved Matt Haywood's race. We need to keep an eye out for the slipstream here from Aaron Gilbert. Haywood's still defensive into the hairpin, and if I were him, I'd be doing the same thing, because look at Gilbert. He's able to make up all of that time on the brakes.
Yeah, Gilbert obviously running the traditional line there, trying to get a better exit out of the hairpin. Chad Lewis here looking for a move on Lockhart Brownlee. He obviously looks like he got a better exit out of the hairpin here. It's a fight between the two ZB Commodores. Excuse me. And it is going to be a fight. Oh no, as Lockhart Brownlee runs wide. That is way too wide there.
Oh, to grab it, Lewis.
There's a touch.
What way?
Okay. Dion, come on now. Settle down, boys. It's the last lap. Come on, we still got one more race left to go.
Yeah, we certainly have, and the race is still on up at the front of the field. Matt Haywood holding off Aaron Gilbert for now. Gilbert has seen a move done on him at the penultimate corner before. Will he try the same thing? He's not far up enough to get it done. So it looks like Matt Haywood has done just enough to keep the victory here from Aaron Gilbert's hands. The number 47 crosses the line, and Matt Haywood is your winner of race 1. Aaron Gilbert just 0.2 of a second behind. Lockhart Brownlee finishes ahead of Dion de Graaf and Chad Lewis, with Grossenbacher taking 7th. And here's Chad Lewis moving back past Lockhart Brownlee and forcing him a little wide on the exit there. Maybe a little bit of how you going for what happened between them before. Race control deemed that a racing incident, but Lewis would have been none too happy with that. Let's see if there's any more to the story here down at the braking zone. It looks like Brownlee just ran wide by himself. Lewis tried to take advantage, but then there was contact between himself and de Graaf.
Yeah, that was an absolutely brilliant battle between Lewis and Brownlee. They would have been absolutely going at it. Chad Lewis there flashing the headlights. He's none too happy about that one, but what a race we had. That was absolutely brilliant, and I'm looking forward to this next one. Looking at the results here, overall Matt Haywood manages to hold off Aaron Gilbert to take the win. Aaron Gilbert there in second, Dylan Gray third, Lockhart Brownlee in fourth. So 2 2014 cars followed by 2 2019 machinery to round it off, and then 2014 cars only. Matt Haywood, Aaron Gilbert, Dion de Graaf, Remo Grossenbacher fourth place in class. So that's not a bad result, but still waiting on race control's results on what they're going to do with what happened between him and Henry King, who finishes in 5th, Dan Stevens in 6th, Dave Arney 7th, Colin Bruns 8th, Gary Watson and Martin Lipsky round out the 10. And we take a look at the 19 cars. Dylan Gray, Lockhart Brownlee, Chad Lewis, Robbie Bradbury, Peter Pavlovich, and Dylan Walker, unfortunately, with that drive-through penalty right at the end. Well, Reese, look, what a race we had to start us off with. I'm looking forward to seeing how the reverse top 10 goes with a compulsory pit stop.
Yeah, me too. Worth pointing out that Dylan Walker, when he came in to serve that penalty, got an unsafe entry. He cut across the green painted asphalt, so that just made things even worse for him. Reminder of what's coming up here for the second race. 20 laps in length. The top 10 have been reversed, so Robbie Bradbury's going to be starting on overall pole position, and there is a compulsory pit stop, but by V8SCOPS rules, considering there's no fuel tank restriction, you can just fill the car up to make the whole race distance, and all you need to do is just stop in the box and go up on the jacks. That's all you need to do to satisfy the minimum requirement for a compulsory pit stop. But I would imagine, these cars being the way they are, the drivers would want to take tires.
Yeah, it certainly will be. You don't want to be running around on an all set of tires. You'd want to get a fresh set on if you can, and it would also help later on in the race if you need to battle someone or if you need to defend. So, look, 20 laps around this place, we saw how tough it was with 14. So 20 laps around this place, I think I would take fresh tires. That's just my opinion.
We have been informed that there is a fuel tank restriction, apparently. So we're gonna be seeing that happen. There are going to be stops for fuel, but yeah, then the question becomes, do you still take tires? Because 20 laps isn't a huge distance. The tires can last if you take care of them. They usually start running out of pace around the 15 lap mark in these cars, I believe. So, you know, do you roll the dice? Do you take only a few seconds of fuel? Or do you go in and change the tires, which are going to take around 10 seconds, potentially cost you a few seconds in the lane, but you will have the pace and fresh tires in the second stint of the race, so you might be able to make all of that time back up. This will be very interesting second race for sure, and it's about to start right now. We're going to go through the top 10 just to allow you all to see how the reverse top 10 stacks up. On pole position is going to be Robbie Bradbury with Daniel Stevens alongside him on the front row, leading the 2014 spec cars off the line. Henry King and Remo Grossenbacher are your second row. Chad Lewis, the second of the 2019s, with Dion DeGraaf alongside him. Lockhart Brownlee and Dylan Gray on your fourth row, with Gilbert and Haywood rounding out your top 10. From there, it's where they finished in race 1. Peter Pavlovich and Dave Arney on row 6, with Bruns and Watson sharing row 7. Martin Lipsky, Dylan Walker, and Joe Mahoney will round out the 17 cars to take to this start, and I'm looking forward to seeing how far ahead Mahoney can get, because he certainly had the pace to finish in the top 10, and with this longer race distance, he might have half a chance of satisfying that, albeit a race later than he wanted. Grid timer is done, and let's get ready to rumble. The V8 Symphony will descend once more here over the Hockenheim Ring, Baden-Württemberg. And the green flag flies. We are away. That's quite a bit of wheel spin from Robbie Bradbury off the line. And it looks like Stevens is going to get ahead of him coming into turn 1. Henry King with a great start. Contact there between Stevens and Bradbury. Robbie sent wide. And Remo Grossenbach is going to make it 3 wide with Chad Lewis in the middle for third place. Do they get through? Grossenbacher sticks his nose up the inside, still 3 wide. Almost going to be 4 wide if Lockhart Brownlee can get his nose in there too. Chaotic start here outside of the top 3. Dion DeGraaf's going to lead a pack that might as well all be occupying the same space.
What an absolute
Lewis! Oh, Chad Lewis made super high-speed contact with Dylan Gray there. They almost lost it. 3 wide into the hairpin. 4 wide on the exit. Let's go!
Jeez, what a start. This is absolutely insane. I must have missed what Chad Lewis did there. Hopefully get a replay. Look at this. 3 wide still going in through the corners. Look at Remo Grossenbacher. He's trying to hold on to what he can. Matt Haywood up the inside. Chad Lewis wants a piece of the action. What is going on here?
Oh man, this is chaos, but we expected that with a reverse top 10. This is the contact between Lewis and Gray there. Oh, it was so close to a big lose for Chad Lewis, and Grossenbacher had to change lines himself as well. Fortunately, it seems that everyone has made it into the stadium section and round the end of the first lap. Joe Mahoney is already up 2 spots at the back of the field. Lockhart Brownlee and Matt Haywood up 3 positions each. Dylan Walker up 6 places from his truncated finish to race number 1. Lap 1 is complete, 20 to go. Can our hearts take it?
Oh, mate, after the start of that, I think we might have to call, I think we might have to get the ambers on standby for you, Reese. Jeez, that was an absolute mega start. We'll let you catch your breath for a little minute there, Reese. Henry King now up on the rear of Dan Stevens, now looking for a move now. Lap 2 of 20, and we can see now as the field just starts to sort of settle in a little bit, just try and maintain composure. You don't want to push it too hard. Henry King now looking for a move. Shows the nose, pulls it back in, see if he can get a better run here. Lock of the brake there for Dan Stevens. Henry King gets a slightly better run out there, but can't get the power down as quickly as he'd like. Out in the background there, Dylan Walker, I think it was, that just ran wide at the hairpin. Not too sure if he got escorted out wide, but look at Lockhart Brownlee in the background there.
Oh, it's up the inside of Bradbury. Oh, hello.
Wait, okay.
Hi, Dion. And bye, Dion. Goodness.
Jeez, I think this is becoming more of a demo derby than a supercars race. This is awesome stuff. Lockhart Brownlee still looking for some moves. Gray nearly takes out the front, but more bumpers going on.
Dylan Gray sticking his nose in round the outside of the stadium curve, trails the brakes and gets around the outside of Brownlee. Ay, 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 what a second lap. What a first lap. What an every single lap of this race we've had so far. And the battle's still on for the lead. The battle is still on for fourth as Brownlee tries to find a way through on the Pacific Esports Racing cars here. Dylan Gray and Robbie Bradbury still holding on to the top two positions in the 2019 classes. Once again, we have three 2014 cars jetting away at the front. There goes Dylan Gray past Robbie Bradbury. But he's gone a bit too deep. But turn two, Bradbury gets a bit loose there with a tap from Lockhart Brownlee. And we'll see what happened to Dylan Gray here at the end of the lap. There was a bit of contact between himself and Brownlee, and it looks like that might have played a part in all of the chaos that we were seeing as we're three wide again on the way into the hairpin. That's Henry King, I believe, getting up the inside of Matt Haywood. No, it's Gilbert getting up the inside of Matt Haywood. And Remo Grossenbacher's right there with a front row seat to this action.
Yeah, he's there waiting. He's waiting to pounce. Look at this. Is he going to go for a bit of a dive here? Nah, maybe thinking better of it. Side by side, Haywood and Gilbert are going for it. Look at Remo. Let's go. Show us how you debut there, mate. That's it. I love this. Look at this. Gilbert's not giving it up.
Yeah.
He's still going for it. Here we go. Round the outside.
Been supremely confident on the power, has Grossenbacher, and that's profited for him here in the early stages of this race. The compulsory pit stop window is now open. On board here with Dylan Gray, and well, looks like there's a little bit of contact. And that's what set up the entire exchange between himself and Robbie Bradbury. Daniel Stevens, Henry King, and Dion de Graaf fighting over the lead here. And those two Falcons are looking as quick as they ever have. Daniel Stevens has yet to see much huge success in the 2014 class for now. He's going to defend like an animal here for the lead of the race, but Henry King getting a supreme exit out of the third turn there. And Dion de Graaf's going to try and follow him through. Are they going to make it three wide? Surely not. Daniel Stevens will maintain the inside line and defend the place, makes contact with de Graaf and King in quick succession, and then Dion decides he's going to have a go at the inside on the exit. There's some chaos behind. Dylan Walker running wide at the hairpin again. The Simblacks Ford Falcon passes the Middle Finger Racing Commodore, and Daniel Stevens has to give up the lead.
What a brilliant move there by Dion de Graaf. I could see Dan Stevens was playing with something on the cockpit there of his car, coming through the...
Joe Mahoney.
Okay, so we're hearing Joe's out of the race.
Yeah, he's out of the race again.
Colin runs. So Colin runs wide. And...
Yeah, right.
Okay, so Joe has... okay, so that's unfortunate for Joe Mahoney.
Not at all.
Yeah, unfortunately, Joe getting caught up in someone else's incidents once again. That is such a real shame for Joe Mahoney. Was really looking forward to seeing how he could go on with this one, but unfortunately has decided to call it a day. So, unfortunately, we'll be able to see Joe do this one. Hopefully, he'll have a better run out next time by at the bend for next week. But yeah, back to my point. Dan Stevens was playing with something in the cockpit there. I'm not too sure what was going on with it. He was just trying to play with the dials. King gets a little loose out of three. What is going on?
Wow.
Gets it picked up. Okay, I'm a little baffled by this now. Not too sure what happened there. Coming out of the 3 and 4, just got a bit loose and stomped on the brakes. Did he get too much power? Did he get a curb? Not too sure. How they lock in the brakes into the hairpin. And we can see there the incident between the 35, 52, and 125. So it's Gray, Brownlee, and Bradbury under review. So Race Control have got a lot of work cut out for them now. As just trying to keep an eye on Henry King here and see what was going on. He seems to be back up to speed and seems to a bit of over the curb there. Reese, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I think King might have just been pushing a bit too hard. This is something that happened here to Lockhart Brownlee making contact with, seems Bradbury. So not ideal between them at the opening corners. But yeah, I think Henry King's just losing his rhythm at the moment. He needs to bring the tyre temperature back under control here so he can mount an attack. Another view of what happened to him here. I think he might have got a bit unsettled over the curb. You take too much of this curb here, and then he actually got on the grass. I think that's what did it.
Okay, so it looks like he got a little too overzealous there and tried to make up some ground to Dan Stevens here. Take a look now at Lockhart Brownlee. As you can see, the weather conditions there, 28% track temperature. So looking pretty warm out there, and still some cloudy weather out and about, but looks like the sun is starting to beam through those clouds here at Hockenheim Ring as Daniel Gray makes a move on Dan Stevens. That did not work out very well. I'll see if he's going to try and give this one up, but doesn't want to give up too much. Look at Lockhart Brownlee now. He's going to look for a move up the inside of Dylan Gray here. And look at Matt Haywood now. He wants to come and join the party.
Optimistic move there from Dylan Gray. He also forces Brownlee wide, and Stevens will get a place back. This is just ridiculous. The pack racing that we're seeing here, Stevens, what a save that was. I can't believe he held on to that. This race is just going off. Everything is happening at once in this one. Some of the best racing I've seen in a long time. This just hypes me up even more for Sunday. We're going to see Dylan Gray here. I think he was trying to defend from Brownlee, but he might have overcooked it on the brakes there. Gave Stevens a bit of a bump. That sent him wide, and Haywood thought about taking advantage there, but looks like wasn't going to make it there. We have our first pit stops now for Remo Grossenbacher and Aaron Gilbert. Interesting point, Grossenbacher currently has the fastest legal lap of the race. There are other drivers who have run faster times, but they got off tracks on those laps. And another view of that save from Dan Stevens. It seems like Brownlee helped him straighten it out.
Yeah, it seems as though Brownlee was helping out a fellow Commodore driver there. Yeah, that was absolutely mega save there. Watch this here on board now with Brownlee. Here we go. Look at Dan Stevens there. Gets a little on the curb there. And there you go. Just gives a bit of a helping hand. There you go, Dan. And now Lockhart Brownlee's like, cool, thank you. I want my receipt now. He's going to go through the inside of the hairpin and will make that move stick and moves up another position here. Dan looks like he's going to give that one up. So I thought he was going to fight that one and go too wide again through there. This has been an interesting start to this one, Reece. 7 laps into a 20-lapper, top 10 reverse. And, I mean, this has just been one of the best races I've seen in a long time. As it looks like the 52 of Dylan Gray has he got a slowdown, or is he...
Yeah. Oh, redress. Race Control has ordered a redress for the contact with Daniel Stevens. So that looks like it's equaled out now. Did you say 7 laps? I feel like I've just called 70.
It has been a big night of action here. Look at this now. Aaron Gilbert and Remo Grossenbacher side by side here. So we have a defending champion and a debutant here tonight. Going side by side, and they're not giving this one up. Remo's pushing it.
Those outside exits seem to be where Remo's very strong, especially into the stadium section. He's just able to carry the power so well out of those turns.
I think we might have to,
that's a big lock up there from the reigning series champion, and Remo's going to take it right back there. Matt Haywood in the pits as we speak. I wonder how close he's going to be to these guys when they get on by. Well, Haywood actually has quite a long stop. That is not ideal there for Matt Haywood. He's stopped in the lane for a long time. Is there a black flag to his name? No, there's not. What's going on for Matt Haywood?
I'm not seeing anything on my timing, Reese. I'm not sure what timing you're using, but yeah, I don't see a black flag or anything like that. He's still in the lane, 40 seconds.
Yeah, what's going on?
I wonder if he's not trying to fuel or what is going on there.
Maybe he sped on the pit entry and that doesn't show up as a black flag. Dylan Gray, sorry, that's Bradbury. Is it? No, it's Dylan Gray. It's Dylan Gray making the move on Dan Stevens at the hairpin, this time with no contact. Good to see. Meanwhile, there's Robbie Bradbury, his teammate. Got Dylan Walker and Chad Lewis right behind him. It's a battle of the 2019 cars. The Mustang leading the way here in the battle for third in class and sixth overall. Haywood's finally gotten his pit stop done. 53 seconds just about, as into the pits comes Mr. Bradbury and Mr. Lewis. Dylan Walker going to continue on for another couple of laps. Dion DeGraaf and Dan Stevens both in the lane as well in the 2014 cars. We've seen pit stops run from about 11.5 to 13 seconds for the pit stops that have gone to plan. So that's the standard by which we'll be judging these ones. Unfortunately for Chad Lewis, he overshot his pit box and had to reverse back into it.
It's a bit of a shame there, and so I've just gone back to have a look now. Matt Haywood, it doesn't look like he overshot the pit lane speed limiter there, so I'm not too sure what's exactly happened here. As we take a look now, Colin Bruns now has received a drive-through penalty for that contact, which unfortunately took out Joe Mahoney. So that is a bit of a slap on the wrist there for him. So he'll have to serve that penalty now, and we'll see when he can do that. I don't know if he's done his pit stop yet. I haven't seen anything. He has, so okay, so he's going to have to go and do it again, make another tour through the pit lane. There he goes.
Yeah,
and
a shame
we'll
there.
see that one in.
Yeah,
but
for Colin Bruns.
I mean, looking at my timing here, the top 7 cars are still to make a pit stop. And we'll see now what happens here. Look at the focus on Lockhart Brownlee. Earlier in the night, he was wearing a jacket. I think he might have been sweating too much through the jacket. He's taking it off now. And he's letting the arms flow as we take a look in the background there. Dylan Gray now. Oh, might have been a bit of a rough pit entry there. I think he was second guessing it, but unfortunately had to make that one. So Dylan Gray now is in the pits and will serve his stop. Look at the focus on Lockhart's face.
Yeah, massive stuff from Lockhart Brownlee, and I understand that. Taking the jacket off, even in the cold depths of winter, it's often ideal to race in a t-shirt. I just seen a black flag pop up for Colin Bruns. He'd just taken his drive-through penalty, but unfortunately spun out of turn 3, turn 4, and clobbered at the end of the concrete barrier. So it looks like that might be race over for Colin Bruns.
Oh, that is a bit of a downer right there. There's another incident under review here between the 52 of Dylan Gray and 125 Lockhart Brownlee. Lockhart and Dylan seem to have been in a lot of incidents lately. I think we've seen most of the incidents that are under review seem to involve one of those two.
Yeah, they've been getting into it with each other, haven't they? I'm not sure exactly what happened between them to trigger that investigation, but I'm sure we'll find out in due course. Remo Grossenbacher, meanwhile, out of the pits 3.5 laps ago. Dan Stevens on fresher tyres. Only 2 laps difference between them, but I think that might be enough in these cars to make the difference. Grossenbacher notoriously, tapped from behind. Stevens overshooting the braking point. That was very well held from Grossenbacher. That could have been a lot worse than it was, but that's going to be another little slide on the rear that'll hurt his temperatures. That's the incident. A contact there between Dylan Gray and Daniel Stevens, and then right here as well between Brownlee and Gray. It seems there's a little bit of a bump here on the way into these corners. Yeah, a little bump on the way into the braking zone there, and that's what sent Lockhart Brownlee wide. So leaving the track there. That was a long way in the past now, comparatively. In the present, Grossenbacher still holding off Daniel Stevens as Lockhart Brownlee completes his pit stop, comes out behind Dylan Gray, who's gotten a 1-lap undercut on him, and Dion DeGraaf graph, a couple positions ahead. Martin Lipsky in the Tulip Racing Falcon, that number 32 up ahead, has yet to make his way into the pits. And along with him, it seems Gary Watson hasn't taken a scheduled stop. Neither have our current top 3 overall.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the timing here, Reese. Just a quick note, Colin Brunt's still in the pit lane. He's been in the pits for almost 3 minutes now. And then also Dave Arney, a 52-second pit stop. So I'm not too sure if he's tried to get some repairs done. So we look here at the 36, Joe Mahoney seems to be back out on track. So he's not had it done for the night. I thought we were seeing him pack it in for the night. So he's back out there. Great to see. And we can see now the Tulip Racing Martin Lipsky car now getting outed by Dylan Gray now. Lockhart Brownlee not going to make it easy for them. We'll run wide. And we'll concede that one there. So Matt Hayward now with the fastest lap of the race now. So halfway through the race now, we've now seen a new leader or new person take the fastest lap honours as Henry King and Dylan Walker now have come into the lane.
And Peter Pavlovich is going to join them. So that just leaves Lipsky as the very last car to take a scheduled stop aside from Gary Watson. Interesting to note that Dave Arney had almost the exact same pit stop time as Matt Hayward. So I don't know, whatever issue they've suffered, potentially the same between them. Dylan Gray and Lockhart Brownlee continuing to fight though, and Brownlee was having a little go at Gray there, but Dylan apparently is blinking quite badly. I've already seen that a couple of times tonight. There it is again. That inspires no confidence at all in Lockhart Brownlee. You know, you're approaching a heavy braking zone like that, and you genuinely don't know where the car in front of you is going to be when you stamp on the brakes. And once you get on the brakes, it's very hard to alter your line. Looks like Gray falls behind into fifth place now. It seems like he lifted off just to let that pack go. Meanwhile, Grossenbacher and Steven still squabbling here over P6 overall, P4 in 2014, and I think Dan Stevens just having fun with this at the moment. He is absolutely ragging it.
Yeah, he's absolutely having a blast right now out there in the middle finger racing, Holden Commodore. But yeah, I wanted to make that point earlier as well. I mean, Dylan Gray, you know, I've done races on here before where people have just been like going in and out of the server like that, and it actually does put you off quite badly, especially when you're trying to race and you're just trying to get up as high as you can. So unfortunately, it does get a bit annoying there. As you can see, Dan Stevens now running a little bit wide there, trying to chase down Remo Grossenbacher. But yeah, look, I mean, you know, unfortunately, going in and out like that of the session, unfortunately, does hurt you a little bit. As you can see now, looking up ahead here, just under a second is the gap between Dion de Graaf and Lockhart Brownlee. So Dion is found himself another gear here and is going to put the foot down and try and stay out in front here. This is some brilliant driving by the Simblacks machine.
Yes, but he has a slight disadvantage. His tyres are 2 laps older than Lockhart Brownlee's, and that might not seem like a huge difference, but in these cars, it can make all the difference. You get an undercut over your rival, you have fresher tyres than them, you will be able to run faster lap times after their tyres start going, and all it takes is a couple of laps difference for that to really come into play. Dylan Walker again wide out of the hairpin in the background there, and I think I saw Martin Lipsky do the same thing as well. Fight on between Robbie Bradbury and Chad Lewis. On board with Chad here. It's difficult to find a way through at that little arena section, and he really clobbered the apex sausage there. It's not the ideal line. You don't want to be two-wheeling it through there. It just ruins your momentum. So there's one chance at a move gone. Maybe there's going to be another one here at the stadium hairpin, but it's defensive from Bradbury. He's doing a good job of defending at the moment.
They're doing an absolutely fantastic job defending from Chad Lewis at the moment. I'm loving the view. You can see how Chad Lewis is working that wheel as Robbie Bradbury is running a little bit wide there. You can see Martin Lipsky has gone into the pit lane to serve his stop. And look at Chad Lewis now. He's got a good run here on Robbie Bradbury here. Let's see if he can make a move down to turn 2. You don't really want to pass to turn 1 at this point in time. And he runs a bit wide there, but look who's going to join the party. Dylan Walker's on the back of this, and so is Henry King. So this has now become a 4-car scrap. Look at Dylan Walker here. Down the inside. Oh, okay. Chad Lewis unfortunately got in the grass here. That might cost him a slowdown.
Yeah, he does have a furled black flag showing, so he has to serve a slowdown penalty for that. I think he was trying to cut back underneath Dylan Walker there, but maybe turned in a bit too early. Across the curb, across the grass, and away he went. So he now falls behind Henry King, and now just rounds out the overall top 10.
Yes, unfortunately now Chad Lewis there, unfortunately losing all of that momentum now. Has to try and get it back there. 7 laps to go, and we can see the battles are now starting to wound up here. Dan Stevens and Remo Grossenbach are just up ahead of the road there. Joe Mahoney running a bit wide, much just be getting out of the way of some of the cars that are a few laps ahead of him. Great to see
Joe back out there.
Yeah, great to see Joe back out there. I did see him out earlier there. 5-second penalty for Dylan Walker. So that is race control making another decision there on lap 4. The incident between himself and Chad Lewis. So that'll certainly not help Dylan's chances here in this one here. He's leading this little pack here, and I'm sure he's going to get the call soon that it's a 5-second penalty. That is going to sting for Dylan Walker here at the Hockenheim ring. And look at Henry King now looking for a move on Robbie Bradbury. Not going to look for it down to 1. Turn 1's not a possible opportunity in any car, no matter what you're driving, whether it's an open wheeler or a V8.
Yeah, for sure. Turn 2, the much better opportunity, and King fires it up the inside. Lewis half sees the door open, but I think that was a bit of an optimistic move. Probably wouldn't have made it in any case, but now he can find his way through at the hairpin, get in the slipstream, and just get on the brakes, be nice and smooth, and you will pass in due course. Forced to go to the outside there. This is a great defense from Robbie Bradbury. He has been defending like a dog for the majority of this race. Still have 5 laps to go. Maybe he's fighting a losing battle against Chad Lewis, but he is going to take it all the way to the end if he can.
Yeah, I mean, these two put it on the same lap. So this is really a fight of note here. As you can see there, the incident between the 52 of Dylan Gray and the 125 Lockhart Brownlee. No further action, the blinking from the server. So you can see race control that has made the decision. It's Martin Lipsky getting loose out of turn number 2 and 3. And it's just going to spin the wheels up on the grass there and try and get it back. So unfortunately, a little too much power down. Look at this little battle here. This is the battle for first overall. Not first in class. These two are in 2 different class cars, and Lockhart Brownlee has gone quicker. Look at that. Last few laps, he's found an extra gear, having 2 laps fresher tires than Dion de Graaf. Come down to turn 2. Look at how close he gets.
Oh, no!
Oh. Okay, so Robbie Bradbury has spun and hit the wall. Chad Lewis is slowing down. He's going to let him through.
There was contact between them at the final corner. You'll see it happen right here. Lewis carrying a lot more speed into the last turn, and a little bit of contact there with Bradbury on the exit. That's what spun him around.
That's going to say, look at Chad Lewis now straight on the anchors already. Going to let him through. He knows that he's going to get a penalty for that one, and has decided to let Robbie Bradbury back through, let him play on. That is a good move there by Chad Lewis to let that one, to let him back go again, as it looks as though he's going to make a move now here down into turn 6 on Robbie Bradbury, sorry, and it looks as though he's going to get it done cleanly this time. Locker the break into 6, and I think he might have gone for a move there. Back to the battle here at the front. Dion de Graaf, Lockhart Brownlee, 2014 Ford Falcon versus a 2019 Holden Commodore. Who's your money on here, Reese? Make a bet.
I'm usually not a betting man, though I do like to do the lotto occasionally. There is an element of luck in a battle like this, but this is pure skill between these two at the moment. And I think Dion de Graaf might have the car advantage. The 2014 cars notoriously easier to drive than the 2019s. And there's the secondary contact between Bradbury and Lewis. No love lost between those two there. So Yeah, Dion de Graaf, I think he's going to be able to look after those tyres a little better than Brownlee can. But remember, Brownlee started on overall pole for race 1. He was able to nail a qualifying lap around here. The 2019 cars are faster over a single lap here, it seems. So, yeah, it's difficult to put money on anyone here.
Yeah, I think it is for sure. I mean, this is one of those tracks, oh, Dion de Graaf, a little bit sideways into the hairpin. Lockhart Brownlee has followed him. So I wonder if they both may have done a little bit of a lock up there together. I wonder if might have gotten to him as Chad Lewis now has run wide. That's out of turn. Oh. Is that out of turn 2? That is. It's out of turn 2 and 3. So not too sure what's gone on there. Chad Lewis, here we go. Replay.
Yeah, so...
Coming to 2. Oh, okay. So just locks it and gets out the other side. Doesn't do a full rotation. So has lost that position to Robbie Bradbury. I wonder if these tyres are maybe now starting to go off now with 4 laps to go. This is a bit of a close one here. Look at this. Remo Grossenbacher on the back of Dylan Gray. This is a fight for position, so this could determine 4th overall. What a debut for Remo Grossenbacher to come in here and have a go to V8 Support Series.
Yeah, for sure. I really hope we see more of him in the future because he's really impressed us so far. And there's plenty more to come. He's certainly no stranger to running it out wide on the exits of corners. And Chad Lewis has been given a 10-second penalty for the incident with Robbie Bradbury there. That is brutal.
Oh, you had to, and he gave the position up, and then obviously had his little spin on the exit of turn 2. That is going to Remo Grossenbacher throwing it out into the going over the curb there. But yeah, that is a brutal slap there. And Lockhart Brownlee now looking for a move on Dion de Graaf. This battle is still going. 3 to go. Is he going to be able to defend this one off? Look at Lockhart Brownlee poking the nose out. We'll see if he can bring that Benson Hedges tribute car up the front. And Dion de Graaf defending with his life. He's making that Falcon super wide. I don't want to call anything here, Reese. I'm just enjoying this one. Lockhart Brownlee now still poking the nose out. He's looking for a move. Coming into the stadium section now. We're going to have 2 to go after this one.
That's a slight lock up there from de Graaf into the turn. I think his tyres might be starting to give up.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that this is going to be a battle. Excuse me, one to keep an eye for on board with Lockhart Brownlee. Now you can see there he's trying to find a way now, and we'll see if he can make anything stick in these last 2 laps. Can Dion de Graaf bring that Sim Blacks Commodore home? A bit wide there for Lockhart Brownlee.
Drivers are going to have to be careful of the incident limit here. They keep running wide like that. They are going to get a drive-through penalty from the automated stewards.
Yeah, going to have to be very careful there.
Yeah, certainly. There is one driver that's on 20 incidents. There's another driver that's on 24 incidents, and I think 25 is the limit. So, yeah, that's not ideal. They will need to be careful in these last couple of laps. Brownlee trying to line up an exit there from the hairpin. It didn't work, though. Daniel Stevens versus Henry King for 4th place now in the 2014 cars. Lock up ahead. It looks like that might have been Grossenbacher that made a little error. That might bring these 3 back together again.
Yeah, I think that might have been Grossenbacher. You see the smoke signal that was sent out there. That must have been Grossenbacher. He is pushing a little bit hard now, trying to just stay ahead now of these 2 here. 2 to go. He's obviously lost a lot of ground there to Dylan Gray. Let's have a look here. Yeah, okay, way too wide. Okay, I'm not too sure if he wasn't able to stop it into the hairpin there. So that's just ruined his little run there, but he's still sitting 3rd in class. That's a hell of a debut for Remo Grossenbacher here. White flag to go. Dion de Graaf, Lockhart Brownlee. Let's run it one more time. 2 laps difference in tyres. And we'll see if Dion de Graaf can make it work. Running wide again over the curb. Not too sure how many incident points these two guys have and how much they have left to play with. But we can see now Dion is defending. He's making that Falcon extremely wide. I think he's making it as wide as the track. He doesn't want to give this one up. He wants to keep it. Look at the bottom screen here. Henry King and Dan Stevens going at it. And it looks as though Henry King has got that one done. Dylan Walker looking in the background there as well. That fight here. Look at Dion de Graaf defending this contact.
Oh, Lockhart Brownlee turning in a bit too early there. Gently does it on your way out of the hairpin. De Graaf is going to hold on to the lead for now. Aaron Gilbert has been making up time on these two over the last couple of laps. De Graaf defensive again into the arena section. Can Brownlee put the power down and get round him? No, not yet. And there's still the stadium section to come. All it takes is one little slide and the battle is over, and the slide goes to Lockhart Brownlee. That's a crucial bit of breathing room for Dion de Graaf in the final half a lap of this race. Across the curb then. Keep it nice and stable. Use the banking around the hairpin to launch your car around. Lockhart Brownlee making up more time there. Just a few more corners to go. Do either of them blink? It's defensive from Dion de Graaf. There's the blink. Can Lockhart Brownlee slice his way through? Might be an over-under here. Oh, it's going to be a drag race to the line. Brownlee out across the grass. Who's going to finish ahead? It's going to be de Graaf.
Let's go. Oh, what a drag race that was. That was absolutely brilliant. Dan Stevens comes across the line now, managed to hold off Dylan Walker. That was huge. Oh,
massive.
What's that now? Two rounds in a row now, Reese. We've just had some close finishes. Dion de Graaf celebrating as he should. Oh, man. That is close, Reese. I'm not too sure if I could, if my heart can take another one of those.
0.108 was the gap between Dion de Graaf and Lockhart Brownlee there. A fantastic finish between those two. Loved that. Loved every second of tonight's racing. And just like that, it's over. Dion de Graaf and Lockhart Brownlee are your top two, winning each class respectively. Aaron Gilbert finishing second in 2014 there, with Dylan Gray, Remo Grossenbacher, Henry King, Daniel Stevens rounding out your top seven. Walker, Pavlovich, and Lewis rounding out your overall top 10. In the 2014 class, de Graaf finishing ahead of Gilbert and Grossenbacher. A class podium for Grossenbacher on debut. Incredibly impressive, with King and Stevens rounding out your top five. Haywood, Lipsky, Watson, and Arnie your finishers on the lead lap, with Joseph Mahoney unfortunately having to settle for 2 laps down, and Colin Bruns DNFing after escaping to the pits without permission. In the 2019 class, Brownlee, Gray, and Walker are your podium, with Pavlovich, Lewis, and Bradbury rounding things out there. And the 2019 cars definitely had a better time at Hockenheim than they have at previous rounds. Well, it is time to have a chat to the drivers here. We're going to bring in Dion de Graaf first from the Simblacks team. Man, Dion, you must be ecstatic with that result. The Falcon looked hooked up around here.
Mate, absolutely stoked.
As you should be, mate. It was a really intense battle with Brownlee at the end there.
What was that, sorry?
It was a really intense battle with Lockhart Brownlee at the end there.
Yeah. We were just chatting before we jumped in here about it, and man, he was like, mate, that was a mega battle.
Yeah, fantastic job from the both of you. You had the disadvantage on strategy, pitting 2 laps earlier in that second race. Did you feel like the tires were going on you at the end there?
My tires weren't too bad. I was just trying to cover Aaron because he pitted early. So I was trying to cover him. So because he had fresh air, so I was just trying to cover him so he didn't jump me.
Well, regardless, a win for you this season in the V8 support category, and I guess you'll try and carry this momentum forward to the Bend next week.
Yeah. So that track's pretty hectic. I've already been doing some laps there in this, and it's actually really hard. Passing is going to be the biggest issue there. Like it is ridiculously hard.
You know, we're looking forward to seeing how you and the others tackle it, Dion. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Thanks to Matty Haywood, Stefan Adams at Simblacks for carrying on our sponsorship for me and Matt for SCOPS. So yeah, we're pretty happy with that. But yeah, big shout out to you guys for putting on a good stream, Matty Haywood, and yeah, everyone at Simblacks.
Dion de Graaf there, winning overall in race 2 and taking the 2014 class win as well. And we'll switch on over to Lockhart Brownlee, the 2019 class winner. Brandon's got a chance to catch up with him.
Yeah, Lockhart, I mean, battle after battle, you got involved in so much in that race. Race 1 and race 2, so many incidents. I mean, just talk us through it, mate. What was going through your mind?
I was worried about penalties, to be honest. I mean, like a lot of them are situations where I couldn't really do much, but I mean, it's obviously always just looming over your head, and you never know. So, yeah, obviously had a big incident with Dylan Gray for the lead of the Gen 2s in the second race, and he just nothing I could have done there. He disappeared off my screen. I'm probably gonna have to go have a chat with race control about that, and I'm sorry to Dylan. Like, yeah, there's nothing I could have done in that situation, and in race 1, I managed to go off the track because of the gravel. As much as I want to say it's the gravel, it's probably just a lock up myself. But yeah, I mean, I had to battle through the pack in both races, so it's kind of why I was in so many battles, I guess.
Yeah, no, that was. I mean, it was just battles and battles and battles. I mean, we could see there was so many incidents between yourself and Dylan Gray. It was just a battle of note from you guys, like lap after lap after lap. But talk us through the strategy. I mean, you started P1. The strategy kind of didn't go your way, but it almost did. I mean, that was a really, really close finish in that second one.
Yeah, obviously with the invert 10, I had to get through the field, and obviously some of the pace with some of the guys that obviously finished P10 in the first race aren't up to the pace of the leaders of that race, and when we're coming by, obviously checking up in some corners, and it just makes for hectic battling. And yeah, I think I got by Dylan got by me. I mean, yeah, it's good fun, and it makes it interesting watching, but obviously it's a bit of a spanner in the works for your strategy.
Yeah, no, well, certainly, I think all that battling, I think, gave myself and Reese heart attacks here in the comms box. I mean, it was just something that was crazy. But look, before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank before we let you jump off?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everyone at my team, especially Connor for providing the setups today. Couldn't have done it without that. Obviously, everyone at SCOPS and AOG for running the event. People at SimSpeed for broadcasting, and obviously the sponsors of our team being Revolution Race Gear and Cozy Engineering Solutions, HRS, Demon Tweaks, and yeah, it's couldn't do it without them. And yeah, no, it's good fun.
Well, good to have a chat with you, Lockhart, and we'll look forward to seeing what livery you pull out for next week at the Bend.
Yeah, I've already got it in the works.
Awesome, love it. See ya.
See ya.
Brilliant stuff from Lockhart Brownlee tonight as well. Brilliant stuff from everybody in the V8 support category field. Really enjoyed that one, Brandon. We do have the Bend coming up next week. Very quick turnaround between rounds for this new track making its V8SCOPS debut. In some ways it's similar to Hockenheim, a modern venue, very smooth and very technical as well, but I think it's going to throw up a few other differences that'll spice things up a bit more.
Yeah, it certainly will. I mean, you know, the Bend is one of those tracks. I mean, I know it's not loved by everyone, but I mean, it's fantastic to see that we have it in iRacing now. And I've never driven laps around here before in iRacing or any other sim. But yeah, look, I'm looking forward to this one. It would provide some good racing. And as Dion said earlier, it is a bit tough in a V8, so it'll definitely spice it up a little bit next week.
Absolutely will. We want to thank you all for joining us for this, what turned out to be a fantastic round of V8SCOPS supports at the Hockenheim ring, and we hope that we can see you again this time next week for round 8. Whether you come from YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or Kick, we appreciate you watching. I'm Reese Gardner, Brandon stuck alongside me in the commentary box, and Jay Kennedy behind the scenes bringing you the live pictures here on SimSpeed TV. We'll see you on Sunday for V8SCOPS proper.